So which means what we have been talking about over here, that there is very clear-cut collusion somewhere, that somewhere a lot of money seems to have changed hands, that somewhere somebody is guilty, and that's not just Mr. and Mrs. Masood. There are other people as well who are quite as guilty as them. Right, Pradeep, you heard that.
Absolutely.
I heard that, and the point is, Seema Razaki was let off, and the investors, all whom we spoke to on the they all believe that this is a big conspiracy. They believe that this entire thing has been set up. They believe Masood also will go the same way. Masood also will be released if the people don't get together and raise a hue and cry about it. The point is, how can you let Seema Razaki go when you know there are so many cases pending against her?
That's right.
Delhi police, they believe Delhi. Now the same thing with Syed Masood. All the investors believe that this man is going to be released because Delhi police has not come to Mumbai to pick him up. He is already in judicial custody and probably he might move the court to get himself released. And when we contacted the sources in Delhi Economic Offences Wing, Delhi Economic Offences Wing is not giving anything in confirmation. They are also busy, they say, with the ongoing games sitting on their head. That seems to be the biggest excuse. The point is, why is Delhi Economic Offences Wing always in? We had the earlier cases in MCL. So much pressure had to be put on Delhi Economic Offences Wing to arrest Manmohan Singh and the entire board of directors of MCL. Why does public pressure has to be mounted on Delhi Economic Offences Wing? Why have they not come to Mumbai to pick up Masood? Because it smells of a big racket. That is what the investors are selling.
Right now, right, Vedant. You heard Pradeep. Yeah. What Pradeep Nambiar has been saying at the moment with us, Vedant Rajput from Toronto, and he's filed a couple of cases against Masood and against his companies and against his wife in the United States and as well as in Canada. Now, in terms of jurisdiction, once say the case comes to court in the United States, what is the kind of jurisdiction that the American courts will have on this particular case? Vedant, could you tell us?
Well, see, I'll break it up into two parts. The main allegation that we have in the U.S. is money laundering.
Right.
So what Chand Masood, Jabin Masood, City Trading LLC, Chand Realty LLC, these companies, what they are doing is that they are using the investors' money, which has been laundered.
Right.
They bring the money into the United States. They are buying property. I mean, right. Chand Masood lives in a flat which is 6 crore rupees.
6 crore Indian rupees, right?
Indian rupees. Okay.
And then where does she stay? Where does she stay?
She lives in a city called Miami in Florida.
In Miami, Florida, right?
Yeah. So she has a luxury apartment there. There's another house that they have, which is right on the ocean, which is another few crores.
Right.
All this money came from the investors.
That's right.
City Trading LLC did not do any business. They did not have any way to generate such kind of money.
Right.
The property taxes itself for these properties is close to 1 crore rupees a year.
Close to 1 crore rupees a year, and City Trading per se does not seem to have the means to generate that kind of income in the U.S.
They for the last 2 years they have done no business. I have their tax returns. They have filed. They've shown a loss on their books.
Yes.
So if they've shown a loss on their books, and Chand Masood was the sole director of the company, where is she getting all this money from? Where is she paying the property taxes from? Now the case that I filed in the U.S., she's hired a lawyer. How is she paying the lawyer?
Right, and that seems to be the question that seems to be uppermost in the minds of people in India as well. If Mr. Masood's accounts are all frozen, where's he getting the money to pay all these high-profile lawyers? That is one. And number two, and of course number two, where is he getting the money to file cases against his previous lawyers? He's doing that as well.
That's correct.
Right. That's correct. But in terms of people like yourself who are at the moment perhaps in the US and in Canada and elsewhere, how many such people would there be? Vedant?
Well, I personally know there are about 35 to 40 investors in the US. There are about 10 of them in Canada. There is a Google group that I started about a year ago when this whole scandal broke out.
Right.
And on the group we have people from Africa, we have people from the UK, we have people from Singapore on the group. There are people. These are all NRIs who are working overseas, but Indian passport holders.
Right. So when you invested with City Limousine, when you invested in Masood's company, what did you see? I mean, why did you invest? I mean, that's a basic question to ask, right? Why?
That's a great question. I mean, I keep getting this question all the time. I invested. My father had invested. He told me about it. I said, well, go ahead and invest the money, and that's where it got done. I mean, it's a good question, and I've been asked this question like a million times.
But you were you aware of his activities? Because he seems to have been paying out in the first 6 years of the company's existence. It's only now in the last 2 years that he's run into trouble when his money cycle stopped. Prior to that, were you aware of the fact that this company has paid out huge amounts of interest to a lot of investors? Were you aware of that?
I was aware of that. When I went to one of their offices, I was told that the company's been in business for 15 years. And once this whole scandal broke out, and I started digging into when the company was formed, who the real directors were, what the company model was, I was surprised. I mean, the company was not 15 years old. The company was formed in 2002.
That's right.
I mean, the City Realcom was formed in 2006.
Yes.
I mean, everything was told to the investors was false.
No, the company that he's talking about, which is 15 years old, was a measurement manufacturing company in Rajasthan, which of course was started by Masood's father. But that has nothing to do with this business. Now, the other thing, Vedant, what I would like to ask you is this: in terms of what is happening at the moment to Masood and what is happening to the investors all over, and the way the law enforcement agencies are moving in India. What does that show for the image of Indian finance companies?
Well, it's really tough. I mean, one thing I've realized, Mr. Bajaj, and it's a very classic scenario with the City Limousine scandal, is Masood. He thought out this entire fraud in such a way. He knew exactly the people who are investing in his company have a very different psychology.
Yes.
Okay, these are people who want to get I can call it greed, I can call it getting the money easier way, you name it. I mean, there are so many ways to describe this.
Yes.
These people, they sold their houses, sold their cars, sold their jewelry, took loans from banks, invested money in the company to get high returns.
That's right.
A lot of these people quit their jobs.
That's right, they did.
Okay, they were sitting at home, just getting those checks, and that's how they were living.
Yes.
They were not considered to be hardworking people. They wanted to sit at home and get the checks. So Masood knew very well that the day these checks start bouncing, and I don't pay these people will not do anything.
Will not do anything, as in they will not come after him with a hatchet. They will not do that, right?
Well, they'll come for a bit.
Yes.
They'll come to the court for a bit. They'll come to the police station for a bit. They'll file some complaints. After that, bulk of them will go away.
Bulk of them will go away because they are not used to hard work anyway.
That's correct. So it's a very psychological game that he's played.
And he seems to have succeeded.
To a certain extent, absolutely. I mean, it's a small example. The Google group that I have.
Yes.
I started that in September.
Right.
Okay, and now it's been over a year.
Yes.
We have about 5,000 people on that group.
Right.
Okay. There was a time when there were about 1,000 to 2,000 emails going back and forth on a group.
Yes.
Now there are days when there is not a single email that gets sent out.
That's right. That seems to have been our experience as well. That seems to have been our experience as well. Pradeep, there's a major point over there. What Vedant Rajput is saying. Now, at the moment with us, we've got Vedant Rajput from Toronto in Canada. And Pradeep, what he's actually said is, I think, perfect. I think suits the profile of the City Limousine investor perfectly. What Masood did was he turned these people into parasites. He turned these people into parasites on City Limousine. They were just living off City Limousine checks. And he knew very well that when the checks would start bouncing, they wouldn't pursue it too hard. They wouldn't pursue it, in a very how shall I put it, intense or passionate manner.
Aggressive manner.
That's right, not in a too aggressive manner, and that's exactly what seems to have happened even over here. When we started the campaign against, about the investors of City Limousine having lost so much of their money, we used to get about 300 or 400 people over here every day, right in the beginning, and then within just a month, we started getting just about 5 or 10 people. That was just about it. And that, I think,
Right.
is really and truly sad. Pradeep, you want to comment
Sir,
on this?
exactly, sir. Right from the beginning, it was purely a money circulation racket.
Right.
He had no profitable business module. City Limousine never had